Attention all smokers, tokers, and true connoisseurs. Simple Pleasures is your one-stop hemp and smoke shop right here in Hagerstown. From premium flower and potent THCA to exclusive glass pieces and the best vapes in the game, we've got everything you need. And now, catch us on the Smoke Me Out podcast, where we bring the biggest names, community leaders, and the latest in the industry. So whether you're rolling up, dabbing out, or just vibing, Simple Pleasures has your back. Pull up today or shop online. Simple Pleasures. Shop, smoke, chill, repeat. Hey everyone, it's Hunter from the Smoke Me Out podcast. We are incredibly proud to have North Atlantic Seed Company sponsor us. They're leaders in the seed game, providing top-tier genetics to growers across the country. Their commitment to quality and innovation aligns perfectly with what we're all about. Be sure to tune in each week for exclusive giveaways and your chance to snag some amazing seeds from one of the best in the business. Big thanks to North Atlantic Seed Company for their support. Now let's grow together. Hey everyone, it's Hunter from the Smoke Me Out podcast. We're thrilled to have Moyo Love Juice Joint joining the Smoke Me Out family. They're leading the charge in the hemp and cannabis beverage space with their incredible infused drinks. Whether you're looking to relax or vibe out, Moyo has something very special for you. Don't forget to check back each week for exclusive giveaways, and you could be sipping on the best in the game. Huge shout out to Moyo Love Juice Joint for their support. Let's raise a glass and keep the good vibes flowing. Life's busy, but your love for fresh, pesticide-free, homegrown cannabis shouldn't have to wait. Meet Anabato, your personal cannabis growing robot that makes growing at home effortless. With AI-enabled watering, feeding, growth tracking, and a sleek app, it's never been easier to go green. Whether you're a plant pro or just starting out, Anabato helps you grow with confidence, and it's a beautiful device that can proudly sit in your living room for all to admire. Ready to grow smarter? Visit Anabato.com today and take all the guesswork out of growing your cannabis at home. Anabato. Grow effortlessly. Hey everyone, it's Hunter from the Smoke Me Out podcast. We're excited to share that Tony's Pizza in Williamsport is now a part of the Smoke Me Out family. Tony's is the go-to spot for delicious, mouth-watering pizza and amazing service that never disappoints. We're proud to partner with a local favorite that always delivers. Check back each week for exclusive giveaways. You might just score a free pie or some awesome swag. Big thanks to Tony's Pizza for supporting the podcast and the community. Let's keep it cheesy and support the local businesses. Welcome to the next episode of the Smoke Me Out podcast. In this episode, we're sitting down with John Snyder, the owner of TLCT Motorworks and the heart behind a growing animal rescue mission that's changing lives, both humans and furry ones. I mean that. This guy does amazing stuff for him. From parting out rare BMWs to pulling up to shelters with trailers full of donations, John is proof that you can run a successful business and still lead it with compassion. We're going to get into the grinding of running TLCT, the wild stories behind his cross-country rescue efforts, and what it really takes to make an impact in the community. Well, I'm trying to get better at this. That was like good. The most beefed up one I've done so far. You didn't stutter or anything, so you're doing good. Usually I'm just like, welcome to the next episode of the podcast. I'm here with, I was like, let's start doing some cool intros. All right. So John, definitely thank you for coming out and sitting down talking with us today.
Thank you for having me.
You know, ever since I first seen your animal rescue efforts, I've always been like, from afar, like, wow, I really admire that. You know, this guy's going out of his way, and you know, for nothing other than the kindness of doing the right thing, and you know, the compassion. So bravo to that. And, you know, we're definitely looking forward to helping support in any way we can. So with that being said, how did TLCT Motorworks come to life, and what got you into the world of used auto parts?
Basically, middle school, high school era, I got into cars like everybody pretty much that's a car guy does. I wanted to be a mechanic. I found out that that was not really what I wanted to do, and it wasn't going to work because I wanted to do everything like pretty much on my own time and when I wanted to do it. And at the time, the only thing I could afford car-wise was a VW Golf. So my first car was that, and that's kind of how I got into European cars. That's what started my VW thing, which started the whole business. Everything that I have today is from having the little VW obsession. Well, once I kind of got older, the business got bigger, this and that. I always, you know, everybody wanted a BMW at some point, so then got a BMW, then that kind of became part of the business too, and then it kind of became all European, like VW, BMW, Audi, a little bit of Mercedes here and there. So it just kind of grew off of I think it was like $1,200 Golf that was like 3 different colors that I bought when I was like 19, and
It's fucking crazy.
that's how all of that started.
Wow. Do you still have that car?
No, I have.
Needed it at that point.
I something happened to it, and I sold it, and then I bought it back like years later after my business was already a thing, and then I actually partied it out, and I kept the bumper to it. So I have the front bumper in the attic of my current shop right now.
Oh,
it's kind of like a memento of one piece of this car that I still have, but unfortunately the car itself is dead.
Do you think if you didn't get that as a first car that you would have eventually found your way to European cars?
No, I think it all started from there because this was pre-Facebook Marketplace, pre any of like
Sure.
Instagram, whatever. Now it was Craigslist. So I was looking at like, okay, I've got like $1,500. What can I get on Craigslist
Yeah.
and get that's like a cool tuner car or whatever? So it was either that or I was looking at Saabs, and I don't think the Saabs would have like in any way, shape, or form led me down the same path.
Absolutely. What does a normal day or week-to-week basis look like for you in the shop? Do you find like you're more wrench turning, or are you doing more like juggling business, like paperwork, stuff like that?
Anymore, it's more or less juggling, like managing the business, taking care of the dogs, because for the past year and a half, maybe almost 2 years now that we've been doing the rescue stuff, we pretty much at any time have multiple dogs that are either at the shop or at home or in between. So it's managing the business, dealing with all of that logistics stuff, and then also taking care of the dogs. You know, when we don't as much anymore, but when we used to go pick them up, get them from the airport. A lot of the dogs that we got came from the airport, so we would have to go to the airport and pick them up, or go meet the transport. Basically that, a lot of the day-to-day.
For sure.
Yeah, but I would say the only reason that I can do that is because I own my own business. Like I couldn't work like an office job and be like, hey, I'm bringing this dog in today. I'm bringing this dog in here that I'm fostering. So it works because of, you know, my business that I have.
Did you always have such a soft spot for animals?
I would say for animals as a whole, yes, but I would say there wasn't like any one in particular. My whole life, I'm not like, I don't want to go out on a limb and say like, oh, I'm vegan, whatever, blah, 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 but I don't eat meat.
Okay.
So, you know, I don't eat meat. I don't try to do anything that's like harmful, I guess, to animals. So I've always been kind of on the more softer, caring about animals side. And then we've had dogs like a lot for the past 12 years. So that kind of started, well, I would say originally it started with I was trying to help cats.
Oh, sure.
Because I was seeing all these homeless cats all the time, like specifically off like Dual Highway McDonald's and then out by City Park. But I ended up finding out that I'm pretty badly allergic to cats, so I can't be around them more than like, I don't know, 20 or 30 minutes, or I'll start getting like
hives and stuff.
more like flu symptoms.
Oh,
like
you got it way worse than I do.
Yeah, I'm like sneezing and my eyes are watering, nose, all that kind of stuff. So, but I could have dogs around, so to try to say where all of that started was probably just I think it was like I saw the Humane Society and a couple other places needed food, or they needed blankets, this and that. So what I did in the beginning was I basically thought, well, my business between Instagram, Facebook, and then my following, there's like thousands of people watching all the time. So I thought, well, why not use this to get people to donate and buy these blankets, or get people to donate and will buy this food or these toys. And then so I would take truckloads or carloads of blankets, toys, food, whatever, to these animal shelters or rescues, and then it kind of started snowballing from there into physically getting dogs and stuff.
I'm sure you've took many of those trips, but I think that's how I found out about you. Is you took a massive trailer full of food, all kinds of. I was like, my goodness, it's just remarkable that you could not only come up with all that in like a small town like this, but just the resourcefulness. It seems like almost anything you decide to put your mind to, you have pretty good success.
Yeah, it's one of those things where like I guess I feel like if I want to do it, I'm gonna do it or have to do it.
Yeah.
So the trailer. We've done that a couple times. Luckily, I can mostly thank Hardy Pet for that. I'm not sure if you've heard of them or you're familiar with them, but Hardy Pet is a retail service that sells food, toys, treats, all that kind of, basically like an online version of PetSmart.
Okay.
And they have a huge warehouse out by the airport. And what happens is all of their online sales, like if a bag gets nicked or like torn or something like that, they have to mark it because they can't sell it. So they'll put a piece of tape on it that says damaged or whatever. Well, all this time I didn't know that one of my customers that ended up becoming a friend that I had had for years is the brand manager for Hardy Pet.
Oh, sure.
So once I started doing all this, he was like, hey, do you want to come down to our warehouse and get a couple pallets of food that we have that it's new but we can't do anything with it. And I thought, yeah, I know exactly what I want to do with that. And then it turned into being like a whole car trailer full of food multiple times.
That definitely is awesome, man. That definitely damn near brought a tear to my eye. That's just what I see now.
Thanks.
Like, oh, that's so good. Has running a business in Hagerstown taught you anything you didn't expect, or maybe with the type of wrong that people do to animals in this general area? What is your take on how Hagerstown is for your day-to-day life?
I would say I don't think that Hagerstown is the best, but I don't think it's the worst. I think that I don't think we have too much of horrible problems here and everything, but we do have a whole lot of animal abuse, animal cruelty, all that kind of issues, or stray animals, this and that. So I would say it's probably about the same as most other small towns for all of that.
Sure. I'm not saying give us the one specific definitive answer of what we can do better in the area, but what are some tips that people can do to be a little more conscious of some of these problems, or some ways that they could help that really might not be asking too much of them? It could be a lot easier than what some people think.
A lot of people are complacent to animal rights and animal abuse issues and stuff, because a lot of people think I can't adopt, so I can't do anything to help. But at the same time, a lot of people don't know that if you share it, if you share one post and you have 300 friends and just say 100 see it, well then maybe 100 of their friends see it, and then 100 of theirs. So some of these posts with the dogs that I or other rescues, Humane Society, any of them make, it only takes just the right person or people to share it, and it'll have in a couple of days it'll have 5,000 shares on it, and that gets
crazy.
And it'll get a dog that would otherwise possibly get put down a home. So people don't realize that even if you can't adopt or you can't donate or anything like that, sharing a post or reposting or just getting the word out for any of that kind of stuff is free, and it's not costing you anything. It's not bad for anyone at all. A lot of people just think if I can't adopt, I can't do anything to help. But that's not true, because there's a lot of people that are significantly more of a help than they think they are, just from sharing our posts and stuff like that. Yeah.
So you've built a really solid reputation. What do you think makes customers keep coming back?
I think one thing that we do that a lot of other businesses, specifically in our field, don't do is we're more personable. A lot of people in their businesses don't share their personal experiences with what they have going on or this and that. Because our business deals with cars, we post our cars, the races and stuff we go to, all of the things we're building, this and that, to where some people when it's their business, with specifically in the car community, like when it's their business after hours, they turn it off and that's it. To where we kind of bring people, a lot of the time we bring people along basically for the ride with us as to you know, what we're doing with the cars. And then on top of that, there's the stuff with the dogs too. Like people like to kind of support. I think people like to support when you're doing a good thing, you know.
Yeah.
And then before that, we kind of amassed a big following for our. I'm not sure if you know this or not, but we have goats at our shop.
Nice.
So
that's pretty cool.
yeah, yeah. Before the dogs happened, we built a goat pen at our shop, and we have 3 goats there. So
that's cool.
before people started following us for the dogs, they were following us for our goats. Because when have you ever heard of a car shop that has goats? So
hand me the wrench.
Yeah,
Stuff like
exactly.
That.
Yeah.
I'd love to come up and get a tour sometime.
Yeah,
that would be awesome.
That would be great. We're actually, I don't want to say where we're at because
you might have people showing
random people. I don't like talking about where we're at and then talking about the goats because I'm afraid of like, what if random like Hagerstown people decide they want to steal my goats?
Yeah, exactly. They would think that shit was funny.
Yeah, something like that.
Cool deal. Some of these questions I try to like tie in together.
Yeah,
so,
it's fine.
Like
Whatever
when people see 20 of them, I'm like, they won't be that bad. Okay, here we go. Do you remember the first animal you ever rescued, and what was that like? You know, did you walk away from that not knowing that you would really dive deep into this and make it a part of your life?
It was a dog. His name was Cash.
Nice.
And I'm still speaking with his owner and everything. Like, we have a good relationship today. I did not know how all of it was going to pan out and how it was going to play out when that happened at all. I think it went something along the lines of like, that was when we were donating food, blankets, this and that, you know, taking stuff to rescues and shelters. And I think I made a post on Facebook that was something along the lines of like, if you have a dog and you don't have anywhere to take them, or any animal and you don't have anywhere to take them and you have no way out, you know, contact me and I can help. And as per usual, someone did. I can't remember what the situation was, but this lady had to give him up, and I took him in. I think we only had Cash for a couple days or a week or something, but he was...
It was literally like 12 hours.
There you go. But Cash went to this lady, Jenny, who's a very nice woman, and that was the first one.
Is he still kind of somewhat local?
I mean, he's like 20, 30 minutes away in PA, so it's not too bad.
Yeah. So how long was it from Cash till your next one?
Not long at all.
I didn't
Because
think it would be.
what happens is when you post that you are able to take them, unfortunately, because of the style of world that we live in, you then have people lined up like,
trying to take advantage of the
I'm getting kicked out. You know, just I would say the number one thing that we run into all the time, and it sucks because of how the economy is right now. Somebody's moving, or they're getting kicked out, or their rent's getting raised, and then the new landlord won't let them have dogs, or you know, everybody has to move right now because nobody can afford anything. So, and then of course, everywhere everyone has to move, you can't have pit bulls, and that's probably the number one that we have.
It's one of the most disgusting things ever, is how those dogs get treated.
Yeah, and that's the thing is, at a lot of the shelters and stuff, they're the first one up to get euthanized. And I think the other thing is, a lot of people don't understand that when shelters talk about euthanizing them and putting them down, they're not just putting them down like because they're mean or there's anything wrong with them or anything. They basically have like a quota of, you know, we have 40 kennels. If all 40 of them are full and 40 more come in this week, we have to put the 40 ones that were already here down, you know, so they can have more, because a lot of like,
Is it numbers like that?
Yeah. I mean, one of the shelters that we haven't worked with in a while told me, this was one of the ones that flew them into us, that One of the pilots told me he thought they were having a great week because they flew out and saved 6 dogs in a week until he got back and realized they put down 23 that same week. So, and that's not even like crazy numbers. If you want to talk places like California, Texas, any of those areas, it's in the hundreds a week. But unfortunately, North Carolina, Texas, and California are the top 3 states in the country for like euthanizing dogs, but it's because of how many people live.
Just the people
live
per
in the
capita.
areas. Yeah.
It's a sad correlation. I had no idea the numbers were that high.
As far as I know, the statistics might have changed, but typically in America, 2 million dogs are euthanized a year, which is like, you think you're helping, like we've probably ourselves saved 100 or 200, and then you hear that.
It's just a gut punch,
Yeah.
that adrenaline high, that
Yeah.
that good feeling you have just wiped away real quick. And it sucks that it's like that, but anybody with compassion that's gonna be a gut punch.
Yeah, and the worst part is that the shelters that we work with, they'll give a deadline, like these. I say 40 because for some reason a lot of the time the list will be like 40, and then it'll say these 40 dogs have until this time on Friday, and we'll have to be like, we don't have really any space or anywhere to put them, but we don't want to see them die, so a lot of the time I have to pick like, okay, I really only can take this one, this one, this one, and this one. It's horrible, but it's unfortunately how it is.
Better, if you didn't do that, it would be none versus.
Yeah. Well, and that's the other thing. I hope that what we are doing and us having a social media presence and using my business and just all of the following that we have, I hope that takes like other people, maybe they couldn't even be in Hagerstown, maybe if they're in Pennsylvania or New York or anything like that they see it and they think, I want to do that too, because if us doing it makes 3 or 4 other people do it,
Now the numbers are
going up. Anyone that does it and helps anyway, like I said, you don't have to adopt, you don't have to rescue, you don't have to do really anything at all other than maybe just click the share or like button or anything, because I'm sure like the algorithms and shit on Facebook, Instagram, all that, like every click makes it get seen by more people.
Yeah. And I'm sure your algorithm's nothing but just heartbreaking stories.
Well, that's the thing, is like, mainly Facebook is like horrible. Because it's not that I don't want to see it, but then I see them and I'm like, man.
Especially when you're in a position where you can't do nothing right at this time.
Yeah, and a lot of them are, like I said, they'll be in like Texas or California or something. I'm like, there's really nothing. Because we can pull from as far down as we have gotten a few dogs from Texas, but usually it's like North Carolina, Georgia, stuff like that. But when it's in California, it's like.
So usually when they're that far, you're able to get them shipped in?
So
what is the farthest you drove?
That I've drove probably 3 or 4 hours myself. But so what happens with, I would say for the last year, we've almost exclusively pulled from the shelter in Georgia. And what they do is because like our health certificates and everything are different here than what they are in Georgia. So what they have to do is they go to a boarding facility for minimally a week or 2 because they have to go on hold. They basically have to put every dog when they come out of the shelters down there on like a COVID or a sick hold to make sure nothing is wrong with them when they leave the state, because every state has a different like state-to-state laws. So
different requirements.
Yeah. So they go to boarding. They get all their shots, they get checked, all that, and then usually a transport truck brings them up here. And I've seen, they're not all coming to us, but I've seen some of the transport trucks have like 50 or 60 dogs in them, which they're going to like different rescues and stuff like that. But one that we worked with a bunch in the past in North Carolina, they would fly them to us, which it was really great. I'm not sure how they're able to logistically do that, but
yeah. Well, I mean, sometimes it just takes, like, for instance, yourself. You're the type of person that deserves to hit the lottery. Think of all the good you could do with that. You would actually put it to good use.
Right, but I feel like there's probably a million other people that should have it more. They could devote their whole life to it.
You probably helped them too. What are some of the most common challenges you face when you're trying to do the rescue? Like, you've got the dog picked out, you're ready to put a little plan together to try to save it. What's some of the biggest challenges?
I would say if you can't get any kind of transport figured out, or the other thing is, like, a lot of them have a time deadline. They're like, the dog has to be out by, let's just say 4 p.m. And you're like, here, you could be 8 hours away, and you're like scrambling to try to, like, okay, I gotta get somebody down there. I gotta get them, because then some of them, once they're on like a euthanization list, some of them are free, but then other ones you still have to pay to adopt them, and then they like make it a big hassle.
They still make you pay.
Sometimes, not all the time. Usually they just.
I guess I would look at it just as a donation, anyways. But
yeah, they do it as a donation. But say, for instance, like a very challenging one was a dog, Henry, who we have to this day. My brother kept him. He was our first shelter pool. Like, he was the first dog we actually got out of the shelter, but he was from North Carolina, like a really backwoods rural area, so they did not believe me when I called them and said, like, I want this dog, I have to have him. Like,
yeah.
I don't care what, any of the details, anything like that, because they said, are you sure you want that dog? Like, you're 100%, yes. I was like, I don't care, whatever you have to say, I don't care. But they would not, they wouldn't do any kind of over the phone or email or anything. So luckily, a friend of mine is a trucker, and he just happened to be in North Carolina, and he changed up his route like a couple hours to go down to this shelter and wait there in the morning until they opened, and then go in the morning and pay them and adopt them and bring them back up here. And then he actually brought him to Erie, PA, so like 5 hours from here, and then I had to have someone from Pittsburgh go get him from Erie and then bring him down to Maryland.
Sure.
So that kind of
work.
Yeah, that kind of stuff happens like a lot.
But those are other, nice, like-minded people, I'm assuming, or some of them you might have to pay or whatever the case.
Yeah, but so like even when they do like the transport trucks and stuff, it's really not a lot of money. So they're obviously doing it for, like, they want to do it. They're doing it for the goodness of the cause, because they're not charged. It's not like a person with an Uber or something. It'll be like,
right.
They could be coming from like 10 hours away or something. It might be like $100, which is,
that's like nothing.
They're not really probably even making
that's
anything
the gas
at all.
Probably.
Right.
Winner of the 2024 International Cannabis Awards for Best Online Seed Shop and offering more than 2,500 strains from over 50 of the industry's best breeders, North Atlantic Seed Company is your one-stop shop for quality genetics. From U.S. elites like Ethos, In-House, Compound, Soulfire, and Humboldt Seed Company to international greats like Barney's Farm, Dutch Passion, Mephisto, Greenhouse, and Fast Buds, North Atlantic Seed carries a thoughtfully curated menu of photoperiod and auto-flowering genetics designed to accommodate every budget. North Atlantic Seed Company is a woman-owned and family and friend-run passion project whose vision since inception has been to take care of their customers and promote collaboration and kindness in the cannabis community as a whole. That means unparalleled customer service that is responsive, considerate, and professional. It means the fastest shipping in the U.S. and loads of quality freebies with every order. And above all, it means an integrity that is unrivaled. What's one rescue story that still sticks with you emotionally?
This dog, Remy, this is a good outcome. She was in Winchester, Virginia. She was a pit bull. She was deaf. The story we got was that she was beat to being deaf by her previous owner. I'm not sure if that's what actually happened or not, but she was living with her owner, who was homeless in an abandoned house. Basically, the owner was like squatting in a house. The owner did something and got arrested. Well, he just left her there, and she was just chained up outside this house, from what I understand, for like a week or two.
Jeez.
Just completely, outside in the elements, in the mud. I'm pretty sure she was in the mud. But I saw the post, just like a lot of the other ones. I saw the post on like one of the local forums for Virginia or something, where they were looking, can anybody help this dog? I ended up finding a lady that lived nearby. She went and got her, brought her down to me, and I mean, this was like one of the sweetest dogs ever. And if she was beaten to where she was deaf, you wouldn't be able to tell, because she was an amazing dog. Super nice, super sweet, got along with pretty much everybody, but we ended up luckily finding her a home pretty quickly, and we actually were contemplating keeping her because of how great she was. And that's one that probably sticks with me and will stick with me forever. Another one is this dog, Lily. Same thing. This was in Berkeley Springs. It was like the middle of last winter. I'm talking the day that she came to us, it was 10 degrees out. And she's like a 2 or 3 year old pit bull, chained up outside a house. Somebody just left her there, didn't care. She got brought down to us. She was probably like, and I'm talking like a couple-year-old pit bulls, and she was like 25, 30 pounds. Like, you could see her ribs, you could see her back, everything. Sweetest dog ever. She ended up getting adopted too, but it's just some of these situations that you always remember, because it's like this fucking dog gets thrown outside when it was 10 degrees out. She probably would have died, if she was there much longer, and pretty much given up on by humans. And you give them some love, some food, spend some time with them, and they are the greatest thing ever.
Yeah, those people should be in fucking jail. It is illegal in all 50 states, right, to do that type of stuff? It's one of those things to where, like, how are you gonna prove that this?
That, and like most legal systems have bigger shit to deal with, so they're like, they don't care.
We need some vigilante justice out here. Just unhook the dog and save it. Maybe not in West Virginia though. That'd be
West Virginia is probably one of the worst ones to try to do any kind of shit like that, because it can just shoot you.
Exactly. So. Have you ever noticed that the emotional side of the animal rescue can weigh on you, or you find yourself thinking about it during your
a lot. Yeah, I would say every day, because it's like, as much as I hope to be helping, a lot of the time I'll feel like shit, because I feel like I'm either not helping enough, or like a dog will get brought back, which a lot of the time is not of the fault of themselves at all. Like, the dog will just be being a dog, and another shitty person will have gotten a hold of them and bring them back, and I feel like, what am I doing wrong to where I'm not getting them to the right people? Or like the Facebook post, I'll see the Facebook post every day where it's like some dog that's only got a couple more hours to live, and it's like, what can I do to help? But then a lot of times it's nothing.
It's got to be hard to turn that part of your mind off.
Yeah,
basically impossible.
And a lot of people get out of it just as quick as they got in, because they're like, I can't take this anymore, when they just see like, because you see like the worst possible shit ever being in all of the rescue and all those groups and everything. It's not.
I don't know if I'd have the stomach or heart.
It's not good
so
at all.
I'm
but
definitely glad there's people like you out there.
It's just one of those things to where, and that's why, part of why I wanted to start doing it in the beginning was like, once my business got successful and we were able to kind of be in our day-to-day groove, do our thing, not have to worry about building a business, to where, we've been doing it for 7 years now. I kind of thought, I want to do something like for the greater good, something that's like, you can make all the money in the world, you know what I mean? But it only benefits you, to where if you do something like this, it benefits the bigger picture, So with a lot of the emotional stress and everything from it, I try to just be like, everything that it could be stressing me out or is weighing on me or not good, I try to think of it as, I just got to, push through it, because I say all the time, like, I would rather be miserable for a couple days or weeks or whatever, having 10 dogs I have to take care of every hour of the day, than think, well, every single one of them just died because it didn't. But that's the part you have to turn off a lot of the time, because there's not ever going to be any less. If anything, there's only going to be more, unfortunately.
And just coming to terms with that, I think, is great for the mental. Is that kind of how Paws and Pistons came about?
So Paws and Pistons, like the name started. Let me backtrack a little bit. We wanted to start a car show. Our idea in the beginning was we wanted to do the car show, take all the proceeds and donate it to different humane societies, rescues, shelters. Our goal is pretty much like we'll do a different one every time. So we're not giving one singular place like huge amount of money every single time. We want to switch it up.
Move it around.
Yeah, to try to help everybody a little bit. But so we wanted to do a car show because we thought, well, we're a car business. We know car stuff. So I, in a group chat of my friends, was like, what do you guys think that I should call it? You know, what's a good name? And my friend Chase actually said, oh, call it Balls and Pistons. And I said, yeah, you know what? It's pretty fucking good.
That is pretty fucking good, dude.
That's good for me.
It's catchy
So,
as shit.
and then,
how many have you had? At 2.5?
so we had, 1, 2. It should have been 3. But what happened was we weren't going to do it because we were so busy because of the rescue and everything that was going on during that time. I mean, at that time we were like 10 dogs on the list of that we had to do, that we had at the time. So we were like, we're not going to have enough time to do a 3. We got too much shit going on. So I thought, let me throw it together in like 2 or 3 weeks and just call it 2.5, and say it's going to be a smaller version. So we had it at a different location. We didn't have as much stuff going on. Still like 1,000 people showed up and it was overflowing out of the lot, so it didn't really work. I should have just called it 3, but I didn't think within a couple weeks I was going to be able to make it as big as it did. Right. So technically we've already had 3, and this will be our 4th one that we're doing, but it's going to be called 3.
It's going to be called 3 again.
Yeah, we're thinking about, because we have a fall event and a spring event. We're thinking about having the fall event be the 0.5 and being like a smaller, more relaxed thing, and then the big show being in the spring.
It's actually really clever marketing too, because I mean, like, for the people who are not wanting to go to something such big or not a crazy weekend out, that's pretty cool.
And a lot of people don't want to bring their dogs out when it's 90 degrees out, too.
That's a great point.
Yeah.
Have you had a lot of customers of the car community step up to support your animal efforts?
Yeah, there's actually one that I can specifically think of, a dog that we have right now. When we got him out of Texas, because he was in Texas, he needed like a lot of money to get him transported up here, and a longtime customer of mine actually donated, like, just completely on a whim, donated like $500 towards getting him up here, and I could have never in a million years imagined that someone would be willing to do that. So I would say,
that's amazing.
I would say a ton of the support that we have gotten has carried over from the automotive business, and that's part of the reason why I wanted to do it too, because I thought, there's not like, there is a ton of rescue stuff, there's a ton of like humane society stuff, dog stuff, but it's all, in the best way to say it, like mainly old white ladies doing it, right? It's just like I don't know if you would say like there's nothing for dudes, right? It's all mainly just middle-aged women and stuff doing it. There's nothing for guys or cool, if you want to say it, guy stuff. So
yeah, absolutely.
I wanted to do something that would be relatable, because car guys aren't as willing to like look at some random rescues, or they're not even going to see it. They're not going to see this rescue stuff or stuff going on with dogs, humane societies and everything. That's not going to be on their Facebook or Instagram feed. But what they are going to see is if you lump it in with a car show, or you put it in with the car community and stuff. So I'll take pictures of the dogs in front of my cars, or in my cars, or at the shows, this and that, because it catches like the eye to this whole other community that doesn't really have anything to do with each other at all, but it kind of brings them together.
Oh, good. For anybody watching this right now, what is one way that they could help support the Paws and Pistons, and even further on than that, help support the cause in the future? Kind of just monitor your page, see when they can step in?
Yeah, follow our socials, come to our shows. even if you don't like donate money or anything, donating food, blankets, because so one thing is like with the whole rescue stuff, you need blankets, you need toys, all of that all the time, because pretty much every dog's got to have their own dedicated set of those things. So
Yeah.
it doesn't sound like it's going to be a lot, but you realize quickly like, oh shit, we're just basically like in a year throw away like 200 blankets.
Yeah.
So just stuff like that, to like donate your old blankets, your pillows, toys, anything like that. And even if it's not to us, you know, you're in Ohio or Tennessee or something to where you're never going to have any relation to us whatsoever, go and do that stuff for your local shelters or rescues or any of that, because as much as some people don't think it will, it makes a huge difference.
So when you first kind of really getting into the heavy of the animal rescue stuff, it's almost like a second business that you got involved in that
Mhm.
cost you money.
Mm-hmm.
You know, is that fair to say?
I would say some of the stuff I have to front, like some really extravagant transportation, stuff like that, we have to front, but for the most part, the community is like stepped in and helped donate some stuff. Like I was talking about the dog from Texas, it was probably almost $1,000 to get him up here, and people donated for all of it. So luckily, because of my pre-existing business, people have been willing to step in and like make donations, or like I said too, sometimes people that could be friends, customers, whatever, will be like, oh hey, I'll go get them for you, you know. So
yeah.
stuff like that it's really helped, because if I didn't have the support from the community and the business and everything that I already have, like wouldn't be able to do it.
Exactly.
That's the thing, is like the two work together, because you couldn't like start an animal rescue with no money and do all this stuff if you didn't have a big social media following or something. But because we do, you have all these thousands of people that see it that are like, yeah, you know, I'm near this dog, I'll go get him and drive him out to him, or I'll bring him blankets or this and that. So it kind of helps that we already had like a base of people watching.
It's one of my favorite ways to see the community come together,
Mhm.
just to help like that.
Yeah, and I would say for the most part, it's done really good every time that we need, you know, something to where we can't do it. There's someone that steps up and does it.
Yeah. What would you say is next for your, not only your business, but also the animal rescue? You got any big plans on the horizon, or maybe a kind of like a, what do I want to say, like a path you want to go down, something you want to kind of more specialize in with the animal stuff?
Not really sure, honestly. I think that I want to.
Like, would you be open to brick and mortar in something one day if able?
I think it would have to be something to where we would have to like catch the attention of some kind of like giant investor or
Yeah.
something like that, to where, because as much as we can do what we can do now at home and in our free time and stuff, you know, it's like you're talking like a huge amount of money to start like a brick and mortar rescue or something. But you know, if the community was there and the support was there and volunteer, that's the thing, is a lot of the places are able to do what they do because of volunteers. So if we had the volunteers and all of that, I think it's possible. That's always, you know, what you want to do. Like everyone wants that to be their final thing, is like have a ranch or a farm or something that's all that people do. Like some people where they'll have like a YouTube channel where they make their rescue or their animal stuff, their YouTube, and then they just have their farm and they can do that, which is,
I love watching this type of videos.
Yeah.
They're great. Do you want to go ahead and plug the Paws and Pistons, and then let people know where they can find you and how they can support you?
so you can find our Instagram is paws_and_pistons. I know it's a lot to kind of swallow.
It'll be in the link under.
Unfortunately, just Paws and Pistons somehow was already taken. I have no idea.
Wow. Really?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
And then you can find us on Facebook at Paws and Pistons Animal Support Group. That one is, you know, no weird stuff, no extra spaces or anything on there. If you'd like to reach out to us through email, it's pawsandpistonsinfo@gmail.com. pawsandpistons@gmail.com was also somehow taken.
Dang.
Not sure, but you can find us through any of those.
All right. Well, John,
Thank
I
you.
appreciate it a lot coming on, man. You the man.
Thank you.
Hell yeah. Attention all smokers, tokers, and true connoisseurs. Simple Pleasures is your one-stop hemp and smoke shop right here in Hagerstown. From premium flower and potent THCA to exclusive glass pieces and the best vapes in the game, we've got everything you need. And now, catch us on the Smoke Me Out podcast, where we bring the biggest names, community leaders, and the latest in the industry. So whether you're rolling up, dabbing out, or just vibing, Simple Pleasures has your back. Pull up today or shop online. Simple Pleasures. Shop, smoke, chill, repeat. Hey everyone, it's Hunter from the Smoke Me Out podcast. We are incredibly proud to have North Atlantic Seed Company sponsor us. They're leaders in the seed game, providing top-tier genetics to growers across the country. Their commitment to quality and innovation aligns perfectly with what we're all about. Be sure to tune in each week for exclusive giveaways and your chance to snag some amazing seeds from one of the best in the business. Big thanks to North Atlantic Seed Company for their support. Now let's grow together. Hey everyone, it's Hunter from the Smoke Me Out podcast. We're thrilled to have Moyo Love Juice Joint joining the Smoke Me Out family. They're leading the charge in the hemp and cannabis beverage space with their incredible infused drinks. Whether you're looking to relax or vibe out, Moyo has something very special for you. Don't forget to check back each week for exclusive giveaways, and you could be sipping on the best in the game. Huge shout out to Moyo Love Juice Joint for their support. Let's raise a glass and keep the good vibes flowing. Life's busy, but your love for fresh, pesticide-free, homegrown cannabis shouldn't have to wait. Meet Anabato, your personal cannabis growing robot that makes growing at home effortless. With AI-enabled watering, feeding, growth tracking, and a sleek app, it's never been easier to go green. Whether you're a plant pro or just starting out, Anabato helps you grow with confidence, and it's a beautiful device that can proudly sit in your living room for all to admire. Ready to grow smarter? Visit anabato.com today and take all the guesswork out of growing your cannabis at home. Anabato. Grow effortlessly. Hey everyone, it's Hunter from the Smoke Me Out podcast. We're excited to share that Tony's Pizza in Williamsport is now a part of the Smoke Me Out family. Tony's is the go-to spot for delicious, mouth-watering pizza and amazing service that never disappoints. We're proud to partner with a local favorite that always delivers. Check back each week for exclusive giveaways. You might just score a free pie or some awesome swag. Big thanks to Tony's Pizza for supporting the podcast and the community. Let's keep it cheesy and support the local businesses.